It's an open secret for some. For many, it's a situation which causes them to live in fear for their lives. Domestic violence doesn't only affect women and children, it also affects men too, and in fact, it affects all of us. Now today on The Big Story, especially in light of recent developments in this territory, we want to take a look at how to respond to domestic violence. And to help us to do that, we have Dr. Sylvia Simmons from the Family Support Network. Welcome to The Big Story, Dr. Simmons.
Thank you for having me.
So today on The Big Story, we want to do some educating. We talk about this matter of domestic violence all the time, but more from the reactionary standpoint, the shock value standpoint. Did that really happen? Oh my God, how could she or he have stayed in that situation? But let's begin with the what. What exactly is domestic violence? And there are different forms that people don't understand.
Most people think domestic violence is about the physical altercation. And when you talk to a victim and you tell them about the physical part, say, well, I'm not in a domestic violence relationship because he never hit me. That's when you provide education. It's about a coercive type of behavior that a person do to another person for two purposes, to gain and maintain power and control. That's it. People have been in a relationship and they have altercations. Someone smacks someone, they need to do it, and they apologize. Well, the domestic violence relationship is about the control. I want to tell you where to go, when to go, how to go, with whom to go with. Same thing with the power. The power piece, I have control over you. I decide what you do and when you do it, and how you spend your money, don't spend your money. So it's a power and control piece that you have to look at. And when that's a part of the component of a relationship, then you know you have a domestic violence matter. It comes in different forms now. The physical, the sexual. Yes, sexual is the problem, because if you're my woman, I have sex with you whenever I want. The verbal, the name calling, which is not nice names that they call women. Psychological games they play on people's mind, move the car when they put in one place and move the car someplace else, and so you're stupid crazy. Of course, the religious one is a very difficult one, because the women who are Christians feel that I have to stay in this relationship because I'm told I have no other recourse but to stay because I'm married to this man. And then the financial one. You leave me, I ain't paying the child support. I ain't give you nothing. And even something in the household that they live, they give them nothing. The woman spends all her money, and when she asks them for even enough money to buy certain items, she cannot get it. But she's spending money to pay the rent, everything, to maintain the upkeep of that relationship. And he gives nothing. And that's control.
At the Family Support Network, you deal with these issues every day. And this is a small territory, and most time people want to feel that, it's not that prevalent, is it?
It's very prevalent. Matter of fact, I'm not shocked of the murder that took place 2 weeks ago, because it's a matter of time when it's going to continue happening. We have a number of victims who have already told us that they've been battered, beaten so bad, but they never went to the police or to emergency room. And if they went to emergency room, they will not tell the doctors or the nurses that they were beaten by their husband or the boyfriend. They will just go get mended and go back home. Because in their mind, I have to go back home to this person. I have no other way to go, so I'm left with no choice, so I feel I have to stay where I'm at because there's no other accommodation. FSN is available. Most people do not know that we are available. And we are NGO, and we provide service to victims of violence and children who do suffer child abuse matters. So we're here for the communities. We do see men, like you indicated before. Our numbers for men are still small, but women are still our primary victims, all right?
Okay, so how does a woman or a man empowers him or herself to come to that realization that I have to take action against this, what is happening to me?
We always recommend for any person who's going through domestic violence matters to always look at a safety plan. If you don't know how to do one, you need to either call us, 494-7622, and we can assist you in providing that information, how to do a safety plan. Most victims' friends would tell them you need to leave that relationship, you're stupid for staying, but when you leave an abusive relationship prematurely and in the wrong direction, you get killed or seriously hurt. 45% of the time when a victim leaves an abusive relationship, she gets hurt because this person now realized I no longer have power. The control I have is no longer there. She decides she's leaving me. And so now when she starts stepping out now, that's when the violence becomes more prominent in the relationship. But once you see certain signs, if I can't have you, no one can have you. Every time you go somewhere, he's tracking you, he is following you, he is listening to your conversations, going on your phones. When you start seeing certain signs of certain behaviors that seem to question what's going on here, and especially isolation part, which is a big one. They will try to keep you away from all your friends and your family, who have been very close to you wants to get into your life. And then you feel, you know, that's my boyfriend, that's my husband, he loves me, he cares for me, so I'm married in particular, so I should be with my husband. Not realize that he's trying to keep you in an isolated manner, so when you do decide to leave, which is take a victim 7 to 8 times to leave an abusive relationship, 7 to 8 times, where's she going? You already told her she can't come back to you. You already told her she's stupid for staying in an abusive relationship, so now she's stuck. In her mind, I have to stay. And because I have to stay, at least my kids them have food, they have a shelter over their head, at least I can accommodate them. Not realizing the kids now is another factor. They're also learning that behavior as being a normal behavior, and so down the line, they also in turn get into that type of relationship themselves because it's normal to them. So we tell women, when you hear the signs, if you don't know what to do, call a friend or tell someone. We have a situation with the killing. The lady saw it, and then she spoke to a pastor. A pastor called me and said, what can she do? We told her, come on in, we could talk to her. She did do a protection order because he's been isolating her. She could not get out to do a lot of things, and she finally came. She finally faced a protection order, so we're hoping that the judge will give us some kind of reprieve based on the information she presented to the court. But she was scared. She said, I have been beaten so many times, and that killing scared me. So I need to do something about it. Women have been locked out of their house, and the husband tell them, you cannot come back in this house. And they feel, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? They will sleep outside on the balcony, outside in their cars because they cannot get into the house. And so when they call us and we give them information, we say, no, if you're married, you cannot do that. But so a lot of it's education. As much as we can educate them.
As relatives, friends, neighbors, what are the signs that we or those persons can look for to pinpoint that something is not right and this may be what's going on, since much of it is kept inside by the abusee?
You might see bruises on a woman, and she might dismiss, oh, I just slip and fall. And you might say, no, that doesn't look like a slip and fall. You might hear the kids are making comments. You might see how aggressive the kids are playing with each other. Also, you might hear the conversation, because if you're close by that neighbor, you might hear the fighting and stuff going on. It is not an individual problem or family problem, it's a community problem, because this victim is impacting so many different persons, whether on a job, at school, they end up going to the hospital or to jail, God forbid. This is a situation we have to deal with, and so we have to realize it's not about my problem or their problem, it is about a community problem that we need to educate our persons, and we need to get involved more. If you see it, talk it. We sit very often next to people at a job, at church, and we know this is going on. Well, that's not my business, that's their business. She's stupid of saying it. I told her she shouldn't stay. And because you keep saying that, you're blaming her for his action. And that's not fair, because the reality is she can't just pick up very often to leave. Again, housing accommodation. FSN is, we provide safe housing, but that's based on income, monies that we have to pay out. And it could run us about $100 a day to house someone. And if we have to house someone for maybe 2 or 3 days or a week, that's money that we have to generate to keep this person safe. And so a lot of times it's not as easy as leaving, because again, the reality is I still got to take care of these kids, I still got to go to work, I still got to accommodate them in any way I can. So where do I go? And if the victim is not from this country, it is really a very difficult task, because he reminds her, you could leave, but these kids are staying. Which mom is going to leave the child behind? So, because he will throw stuff to her, say stuff to her like, I will go to immigration and have your work permit revoked, or I will send you back out to the country. She doesn't understand the laws as well as she should, and she believes that what he's saying is true. Or he might make comments like, I know the policemen, I know the judges. Half the time he don't know squat, but she's convinced, because a lot of times these women's self-esteem is extremely shot and extremely low, to the point that they don't feel good about themselves. Most victims are prisoners, not in jail, but prisoners up here. They believe that this is what's going to happen, and he tells them over and over, if you leave me, I'm going to kill you. They believe it. Now, you're the girlfriend of this friend. No, he can't kill you. You don't know that. She knows that, and she's going to stay.
Big in this picture are kids. Kids react in different ways. You may see a kid at school being this troublemaker, this bully. Sometimes most of these kids are reacting because of what's happening in their homes and even in their communities. So how do kids, because a lot of kids listen to TV, they see what's happening, how do kids respond to instances where they find their mom or their dad or anyone in their home being abused?
One of the things we always recommend when we do presentation in school is, one thing kids must not do is jump into a fight. You get hurt. But kids see a lot. And if a teacher hears a conversation from a child indicating that they see some violence, they need to report it to the counselor so the counselor can maybe intervene and see what's going on in the home. If that doesn't happen, then the child is going to constantly demonstrate or display that behavior to someone else, like you indicated. So as much as we can, deal with the anger, deal with the situation, teach us, and not punish them or beat them. Find more what's going on. If you're not trained, let a counselor deal with what's going on with that child and let that child explain to them. Because I agree, bullying is a sign of what they see at home. I can't beat up dad, but I can beat up this little child.
You said earlier that it's a small proportion of men who are affected, but the reality is that men are affected, even though it's taboo. How does a man, bearing that in mind, go to the police station or come to FSN for help? How would you advise men in the territory who are facing this to go about trying to get a grip?
Understand domestic violence is about a person's decision or behavior to abuse or control someone. You didn't ask to be abused or be put in that predicament. My suggestion, not just to the men who want to report it, is to the officers or the police who are in the front desk. When the person comes, I want to report that my wife or my girlfriend battered me, stop laughing at them, stop putting them down, stop belittling them. This is a reality. It's not their fault. Like we tell women, it's not your fault. This man decided he wants to punch you and beat you up and call you all kind of names. Same thing with this guy. It's not his fault that he asked for this. He entered a relationship with understanding that we are going to have a relationship that's going to be respectful. But now she decided, oh, who you going with? Who you talking to? They don't have the right. No, that's not right. And he wants to leave, and she's telling him, you're not leaving. You're my woman, my man. And you're going to stay in this relationship. So he said, no, she flattened her tires. She broke his window. She damaged other things. So he said, officer, this woman has damaged myself. This is the reason why. Man, move from here. Go take care of a woman. That is not fair. Because if the woman had done that, you would have charged him because of it.
Yes.
And so that makes him very angry because the system comes across as being very gender biased. And that's not fair. We do know 90% of the time victims do not report domestic violence. 90% do not. Only 10% or 5% we see in our offices and police might see at the precinct. But other than that, that lets you know there's a lot of victims out there who will not tell you that they're going through domestic violence because the stigma. We also advise them what to do or what not to do. Kitchen is the area that, for example, when a woman goes through domestic violence, stay out of the kitchen. Reaction is reaction. We want to defend ourselves. And very often, if he gets a little nick, and guys, it's nothing personal, but when guys get a little nick, 911, my wife just hit me, my wife just stabbed me, guess who gets arrested? She does. But all the history of the abuse never comes out because she never reported because she never thought she needed to. It becomes very frustrating because we have no safe house at this present time, and we only can accommodate based on the availability of space that we have, if it's available. But it becomes very frustrating because you have children who have to suffer and see this kind of abuse on a regular basis.
Remind us quickly of the support that's available for men, women, and children who may need it from FSN, and the support that FSN in turn needs from the community.
What FSN can provide is definitely counseling. Most people think it's food that we give, but we do a lot of counseling. Last year, I think we did over 1,300, 1,400 counseling sessions. And food, of course, is another factor that we do provide. It is not a primary service. But if women come in who need services when it comes to feeding their families, if we have the food, we give it to them within proportion, based on family size. We don't do home visits to make sure that you have food in your home. That's not our job. We do try to get some income information to see exactly what's going on. But even with income situations, people still need food. We do provide emergency housing should a person fall in that situation, they get put out, or the police recommend that the person should not go back home. We will try to accommodate based on what we have as far as availability. We do have a thrift shop, where we provide clothing for persons. And also, persons could come in from the community and buy the clothes, and that money is used for topping up a client's phone, provide services, maybe put gas on for the person. So we don't give money to clients, but we will accommodate them as best we can based on assessment on that client's need. FSN always need money. We do get $40,000 from the government right now. Still waiting for it, but we get $40,000 from the government, and that's all we get a year. That's not per month. That's a year.
Wow. And
so everything else is based on person seeing what we do in the community and willing to contribute to our cause. So we have to beg in order to keep our lights on, keep our rent paid, and salary paid.
And I know for sure that you guys are desperate in in getting more space right
Yes,
now.
we are in need, but we cannot pay $1,500, $2,000 a month in rent. That
Somebody
doesn't
could
make
donate
any
that
sense.
space,
We
man.
need
No?
space for at least to have 2 counseling rooms, at least a general area for office space, and also
For
an
the
area for a
thrift.
thrift store. 'Cause thrift store, if we're able to set up in a way that we could sell stuff, that would generate income for us, significant income, because we don't. That's not overhead by buying the stuff. We get the stuff free.
Thank you very much for joining us today on this very important topic, Dr. Simmons.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, and you're welcome.
That's it for the big story this week, looking at domestic violence and how to respond to it, how to take yourself out of the situation if you're so entrapped. Remember that the Family Support Network is available to help you at 494-7622. And remember that FSN also needs support to continue doing its good work.